Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your secret co founder. It is Marjolaine, and I want today to share with you the one thing that changed everything for me in my business and in my clients' business. It got them dream clients, it got them deals, partnerships, freedom, time, offline, space again to think, to be with their kids, with their partner. And it's not posting more, it's not hiring people, it's not showing up more or finally hitting that revenue goal you set for yourself. It is learning how to make decisions every single day. Now, as a Libra, decision has been my Achilles heel for most of my life. It took me forever to understand how to make decisions that are actually helping me and not stay in my perfectionism, my overthinking. So today I will share with you the different decision making tips and frameworks that I give my clients so that they can move fast, shift things that are not aligned, and actually grow their business in a way that is aligned, makes them feel alive, gives them the results they really want, but most importantly, the life they want. Because we're not growing our business just to spend all day in an office. We're growing it to live a really, really good life. So let's dive in. Okay, what's a decision? I want to start here because what is a decision? Oftentimes, when we think about decision, we think about this dramatic A or B. And that's why so many of you are so scared of making decision. We kind of grew up with this, what career do you want to pick? What are you going to decide? Who are you going to be? Are you going to date this guy or this guy? And it always feels so final, right? If I make the wrong decision, my life is over. If I quit this job, my life is over. If I don't choose this path, my life is over. And it's always so heavy and so dramatic. But when we're in business, every single day we go through about hundreds of decisions, micro decisions. And if we stall, if we overthink, if we go in this pattern of it's life or death, almost like threat level situation, we're not moving forward and our business stays stuck. So the first thing I want to reframe is that decision is not this ultimatum. It's not this yes or no, this right or wrong. Decision is a chess piece moving. It's one tiny move. It's just a move. It changes your location, it changes your perception, it changes your awareness of data. And then once you move, guess what? You can move again. I will always remember it was Berlin. I was about 20 years old, something, in a hostel. It was 4 a.m. I was tired. I was on a dance floor and I regretted my decision of going out, but I had physically no way to leave the club. Music was not my vibe. The vibe was not my vibe. I was deep in regret. And then this stranger that I had just met in a hostel looked at me and said, it's not about the decisions you make. It's about what you make out of every decision. Lightning strike. It changed my entire life. And in that moment, I chose to close my eyes. I decided to tell myself the music was my vibe. And I had a really good time. I accepted I was there. I accepted the moment. And I made the best of it. And since then, it's almost as if this heavy weight fell off my shoulder. All of a sudden, decisions are no longer scary because I'm the kind of person that can change my mind. I'm the kind of person that can decide again. Decisions are a trap when they're final, and they become your greatest freedom once you realize that you're constantly moving and you get to decide again. So decisions are one move, not your final play. Once you start understanding this, everything will change in your business. Now that we know what decisions are, and now that we know that we get to decide again and again, I want to bring the concept of information and data, right? Because why do we make decision? Because we want to know more, or we want to change our situation in some way, right? There's a desire for change. And now it's even more scary because most people are terrified of change. We like to keep it cozy. We like to stay exactly where we are. It's safe, it's familiar, it's known. Every decision implies change. And so if you're not familiar with change, it will always be a little intense for you. But if you get comfortable with change, decision become easy again. Okay, so a decision is a movement, a decision is change. And so to make more decision, we need to get extremely comfortable with the concept of change. So why do we change our situation? There are 3 core beliefs that I think are part of our decision making in the day-to-day. There's a component of desire, right? I will change my life because I want more. I want this. I moved abroad twice internationally because I wanted more for myself. I wanted to go abroad and explore and feel capable and strong the first time. And the second time, I wanted to live by the sea. And that's why I'm on an island now. I wanted more, right? There's a desire component that allows us to make changes in our life. Then there's a component of wanting more information because we're not quite ready to decide. Now let that sit in. When we decide sometimes, we decide because we don't know what's the final decision. We need more information, more context, right? Let's say in your business, you're identifying that there's a leak in your workflow. You're always behind, something is not working, it's not clicking, it feels heavy, and you think, okay, let me hire this person, right? It's a hypothesis. It's a decision, but it's not your final play. However, without this hire, without this move, you don't have enough information to make an informed decision, right? So there are so many micro choices we make sometimes that I consider more hypothesis, that are meant to give us more data, more information, right? So when we don't know what we truly want, we ask ourselves, what is the one move I could make that would give me more information, that would give me more context here, that would help me see more? And you know how earlier I said data? We need to understand data, information, why we even move. When we realize that every move gives us more information and more data, we no longer can feel this regret or this fear of having made the wrong choice. Because we only ever can make a decision from what we see. If you're at 2 years in your business, you see certain things. If you're 10 years in your business, you see more things. Things that you didn't realize were there are now all of a sudden really present. So the more we move, the more we decide, the more we see. And in that context, we need to ask ourselves, okay, what is it that I can do right now to give me more clarity, to give me more information, more data? So that's the second reason we make decision, to get more clarity, to get more information, more context, more texture to play with. And the last reason we make decision is to quite literally reduce delay, crunch time, be more effective, be more efficient. Realistically, we could all spend our day just eating grapes and sitting by the pool. But if you want to achieve certain things in your life and you want to move and you want to even get the pool and the grapes, you want to move faster, right? Someone that's thinking they might grow on social media a little bit, maybe will post twice a month. They don't really think about it. Maybe it's going to happen, maybe not. They're not looking for speed. They're not looking for how quickly can I get to my goal? How fast can I find a way? How many times can I fail until I figure it out in a short amount of time? And speed is one of the main reasons we make decision, right? Really display with time, wanting to get there faster, more effectively, or quicker, because the more we know, the more we can move, right? It circles back again to the data, circles back again to getting what we want. So when we think of decisions and we think of speed, the very best way to get more speed is to do it quicker. Challenge yourself, right? If I'm looking to understand social media and I challenge myself to post 15 times a day, I will learn much faster than if I post one reel a day for 52 weeks. We did this experiment a couple weeks back with my partner. We asked ourselves, can we post 140 reels a day? We cannot. Not happened, not possible, did not work out. We tried 5 days in a row. But what we did realize is that by trying to make 140 reels in a day, we were able to make 15 in a day. And all of a sudden, it shattered my illusion that 3 reels a week was maybe a big deal. Because I realized, wait, if I can make 15 reels in a day, There is no reason for me to ever disappear from social media. There's no reason for me to ever make a big deal out of posting daily once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I can post 15 times in a day. And so creating a new standard for yourself, raising the bar, often is what allows you to then shorten the delay you're creating in your reality, in your perceived challenges in your business, right? Because what's truly happening when we think it's challenging to post? Often, it's a lot of overthinking, perfectionism, procrastination, uncertainty, unclarity on the series, the format, hesitation. A lot of time, it's a lack of making decisions, right? So when we raise the bar for what we expect ourselves capable to do, whoa, things are shifting really fast because you're breaking your own limitation. You're breaking your own ceilings of perceived challenges, of limits. And that's why decisions are so important, because they allow us to grow quicker, to get closer to what we truly want, and to also make informed decision. Because making decision is literally the way to make better decision, okay? So how do I guide my clients to do this? Well, first of all, we need to always understand why we make a decision. Why do we need to change something right now, right? We often are solving problems that don't need to be solved in a business because there's 1,000 fires light up at once, it seems. So we're trying to fix everything. And sometimes we don't understand what is truly happening behind it, right? And so how do we make a decision? We first identify, why do we need to decide something right now? What is the core problem happening? But to know this, we need to look at the bigger picture, the system behind the problem. How is you scrolling a problem? Sometimes it's a lack of purpose in your business, or it's misalignment with the way you're leading your team. Sometimes it's not what it seems. And we need to get to the core to understand what's our high leverage decision. Sometimes we're spinning our wheels and we're trying to juggle all the plates because we don't understand what is causing the problem in the business. And so we need to first discover, tune in, notice what is truly happening. What makes me need to make a change here? And then once we decide something needs to change, then we play with the hypothesis. Okay, how can I get more data here so I can make a better decision? We start making micro choices. And then we look at the bigger picture. What is my highest leverage decision here to shorten time, to shorten experimentation, to shorten delay, and to get quicker to what I'm truly here to get? And so we look at the why. Then we start making small hypothesis decision, get more data, get more information, and then we can identify, name, and pinpoint the true high leverage decision that actually creates the bridge to the desired outcome. Because before we know that high leverage decision, which in your context of business could be a new hire, could be deleting an offer, could be raising your prices, could be creating a new viral series for your social media, there's so many things you could do. But what is the high leverage decision that closes that time gap, closes the delay, shortens the time between where you are and where you truly want to be? And so, yeah, that's how I guide my clients to make decision. Look at the big picture, play along with small moves to get more data, and then identify, name, and move with the high leverage decision that changes everything in business. I hope you enjoyed today's journey with decision making. This is such a big topic, but I know how sometimes we get so close to our business that we can no longer see. If you want me to put my eyes on your business to understand what's really happening and what's the big decision that will change everything in your business, give you your time back, increase your revenue, and simplify everything, let's talk. Let's chat. Send me a DM.